International Youth Day, and the theme is Safe Spaces for Youth. It's highlighting the fact that our young people need safe spaces where they can come together and engage in activities relating to their different needs and interests. They also need to participate in decision-making processes and to freely express themselves. Let us all work together to give the future leaders of tomorrow a Jamaica where they can work, live, raise families, and do business. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Sandra Clark. Today we have an interesting show lined up for you, so stay tuned.
I'm sure my neighbors hear the screams and cries.
I'm sure by now they've seen the bruises through my oversized glasses.
Can they tell I'm depressed when we speak?
Are they counting my frequent days off from work?
Domestic violence is any pattern of behavior used by an individual to maintain control or power over another. Domestic violence is not just physical, it can also be verbal. If you're in a relationship where you are being abused or know of anyone, get out and speak up. Report domestic violence by calling 119 or the nearest police station. Get out before someone puts you out. Social media was designed for you to connect with friends around the world, sharing pictures, videos, regular life events to keep them involved because they are not always there with you. But have you ever added a stalker by accident? A bully? Someone who is not your friend? How did that turn out for you?
I'm Tony Lati, and I am a victim of cybercrime. It started when my friends and I were in school, and we all received a friend request from a weird name. We didn't know who it was at the time, but because we all got the friend request, we figured more likely it was a real person, so everybody accepted this person. Wrong move. So everything was fine in the initial stages, but maybe like a week or two after everybody accepted the friend request, some strange things started to happen. They would send us messages, sometimes individually, or they'd send the same message to everybody just to see what kind of different responses we would have. And it was very weird, to say the least. But then after that, it's like they upped the ante a little bit to start. Well, they started to tell us things that we were doing and places that we were going and people that we were with, and it was just like, okay, do I know you? Well, we became very paranoid. It's sensitive information that this person is telling you, it's places that you never really announce it to people that you're going here. So when you see somebody send you a message to say, oh, you're here with this person and this person, you start to look at your friends now like, it's you, I know you're playing with me. You just talk the truth and let's move on. But it wasn't any of them. When everything happened, at that time we had a lecturer who was a DSP. So we started to get advice from him, asking, what to do, and at that point he told us that the best thing to do is stay as safe as possible, and so we started to leave school extra early. But we sort of just took matters into our own hands to try and find the person ourselves. We Googled how to trace IP addresses, and that's how we found out that the person who was doing this was actually a member of the school community, or they would be attached to the school Wi-Fi at the same time that we were at school. Eventually, it stopped because we made an uproar about it in spaces where we suspected the person was. So we began to speak very loudly about it. We let them know that we would be pressing charges and we'd go on with a bag of things. We didn't know who the person was, but we figured more likely that they heard us loud and clear. To this day, we don't have a definitive answer as to who the person was. Yes, we have our suspicions. But I can't really point at somebody to say, you are the person who was doing that. And that's a little scary to me. Looking back now, I think we all would have been much better off and a lot less paranoid if we kept ourselves to ourselves and only added people on social media that you know for a fact are your friends. if somebody doesn't have a profile picture, that's probably not somebody that you want to share your information with. To everybody else, I just say be very careful on social media, because things and times have changed and there are some people out there with really malicious intent. So you just have to be very, very careful, be observant, be vigilant.
Mommy,
Yes, Zoe?
can we read this book? It will only take 10 minutes.
Sure, sit down. Every spring, Madame Angel Wing arranges a
Do you have 10 minutes? Read with your child today. Reading with your children for just 10 minutes each day helps develop their language and listening skills, stimulates their imagination, and expands their understanding of the world. So, start reading with your child today.
Has someone ever looked at you and said, "Oh, him nah gonna way," or "him nah come out to nothing good, waste of time"? If you have, then take a look at this young man who rose above his circumstances, held his ground, and is now taking his master's degree one scholarship at a time.
My name is Shanrai Dennis, and I'm the 2017 recipient of the PCG Renewable Energy Scholarship to pursue a Master's of Science in Renewable Energy Engineering at the University of Technology, Jamaica.
The procedure for selecting a recipient of the PCG scholarship was done through first a advertisement inviting potential students, whether recent graduates or persons who were interested in the master's program in the School of Engineering, to apply. We chose Shanora because he's someone who thinks deeper than the surface, and that is what a researcher needs to be. Not somebody who takes things at face value, but is willing to probe a little deeper. Interestingly, what impressed us in the interview was not so much his technical knowledge, which his academic performance already testified to, but he actually discussed some social issues at the time. Our conversation led us there, and we were appreciative of the perspectives that he shared.
With great powers come great responsibilities, so being given this scholarship, it's not just a scholarship for me to be selfish with, to get a master's and then migrate or whatever. It's for me to know that I'm being given an opportunity to make myself a better person and in the long run make Jamaica a better place. So I don't see this scholarship as a scholarship for me, but a scholarship for Jamaica. My goal or my dream is to see the social gap in Jamaica being reduced, to see everyone living more equal life, to see everyone being able to afford what they want, and in a sense to help Jamaica develop from third world status. In this field, renewable energy engineering, you need an expert in the field of renewable energy. It's a growing field, it's a relatively new field. After completing my master's, I'll be able to add further research first of all, that other persons can work, and I'll also be able to do applied research and actually have end products resulting from these research. Many people will look at me and probably pass judgment. They see a dark Rasta boy over there, so they say it doesn't have anything positive to offer to society, but that's not necessarily the case. Like, what I can tell you about me is that Shanrai Dennis is a humble, reserved, outgoing person, enjoys watching and playing sports, having discussions on various topics from politics and history to physics, technology. So I consider myself a versatile person. I love sports. I was involved in sports from primary school. I remember when I had GSAT, my father wanted me to focus and my studies.
While he was going to primary, I was checking his book, I always do. And I realized that on Wednesdays, there were no work done in his book. So he came home and said, I said, well, I'm not in your school on Wednesday, dear. I said, yes, Daddy. I said, I'm not seeing no work in your book on Wednesdays. I said, because him go play football for his school. So I said, it's not right.
I loved football, so while he would be thinking I'm at class, I'm out playing football. And he didn't know until, until a match that I played in featured on TV in which I scored 2 goals. so when I went to him, he was like, so since when you play football or whatever, I think we had this talk. It's very important to know that you're living your life to the best that you can and you're not wasting it. So that's one of the driving factors behind me being so involved, because if I find something interesting, I'm going to do it. So when you have a packed plate and then you see something else you want to do, there's really only one thing you can cut back on, and that's sleep. And that's sleep. So if you have to reduce the hours you spend sleeping to do something you enjoy, I think it's worth it.
I've taught Shanoy from his first year at UTech, and taught him about 3 or 4 modules. When I observed him, he wasn't always working though, but he was never stupid with his free time. He rested and he did recreation in a healthy way, in a productive way, and he was a rounded person. So that's important. Just be rounded and be productive with all your time, not just academically.
So you see, I'm just here doing what I need to do, and I'm more focused on what I need to get done than the fact that I am actually a scholar.
Salt water will affect the hair a little different than chlorinated water would. So let's say you're in the pool a lot now, and it's the chlorine that's the troublesome factor here. Under the microscope, you'll see chlorine eating little holes, little pockets of little holes in the hair, because really this is not the average amount of chlorine. It's there because the pool is a heavily used area, so they have to step up the amount of chlorine used. Now, after you're finished swimming, shampoo the hair. It's as simple as that. Do not leave the hair to self-dry, because, you know, for some people, it will not dry for now. It will not dry until tomorrow, depending on the length of your hair. And so, you're giving it more time to become damaged. There are little conditioning that you can get at the beauty supply stores that we call them pre-conditioners. You just apply a little before you go in the pool, and that covers you while you're swimming, even if you're swimming without a swim cap. Where you can use a swim cap, you use one. Same thing if you're at the beach, use a swim cap if you can. If not, and it gets wet at the beach, be sure to shampoo the hair within 24 hours. After that, it's a different category of damage that we're talking about. You will just notice that the hair breaking in little short pieces, and it gets extremely dry. For some people, they may have what you call surfer's hair, where it starts looking a little bleached at the ends. That is when it's really bad. So yes, the hairdresser will assist you with a little trim up, what you call a haircut. Yes, they'll do that, because then you have now really damaged the hair, maybe the last 2 inches or so. So remember to shampoo after swimming, and the hair will do fine. Condition after your shampoo as well.
respecting yourself, how you carry yourself is very important. You hear me, young men? We take for granted oftentimes as men that people judge you before you even open your mouth. From they look at you, they form a perception. They make up their minds about you. So the question is, when they look at you, what do they see? Understand you might not always agree, but you can respect somebody else's view.
Respect my dad.
Respect my dad.
Yeah, man, respect.
It doesn't take anything to be respectful. And you can never tell the impact you will have just by saying, good morning, please, thank you.
Respect.
Smoking, some of you may have tried and never liked it. Others may have puff past and gotten hooked. But have you ever thought of how it may affect your health and what this may do to you in the future? Watch this.
Over the years, the prevalence of smoking among our youth from as early as age 13 has been steadily spiraling upward. The most recent Global Tobacco Youth Survey showed that smokers in the age group 13 to 15 increased from 15% to nearly 25% over a 9-year period. This trend is of concern, considering the ill effects of smoking.
Cigarette smoking is associated with nearly every cancer you can imagine. Cancer of the tongue, cancer of the breast, cancer of the cervix, cancer of the pharynx, cancer of the stomach, just to name a few.
There are over 4,000 chemicals in cigarettes that are harmful to the human body.
For example, chemicals that are found in embalming fluid, what is used to preserve dead bodies, chemicals which are found in rat poison, insecticide, chemicals that are found in battery. All of these chemicals are found in cigarette.
Among young people, the short-term health consequences of smoking include respiratory and non-respiratory effects, addiction to nicotine, and the associated risk of other substance abuse. Long-term health consequences of youth smoking are reinforced by the fact that most young people who smoke regularly continue to smoke throughout their adult years. Tobacco can affect youth activities and athletic performance as it narrows blood vessels and puts a strain on the heart.
In addition to traditional cigarette smoking, there have been some rising new trends among our youth.
We have observed a lot of parties, what they call the hookah parties. So the hookahs now comes in different flavors. So there's this myth about there that the hookah pipe is much safer than the smoking cigarette because the water inside of it actually filters out the smoke. But the research it actually does show that the hookahs still can cause cancer, TB, or even an STI, because most persons, when they share the tip of they don't change it. So if a person has one STI, actually can pass to the other person.
Then there are e-cigarettes.
The e-cigarettes don't have tobacco per se, but they have nicotine, they have other chemicals in it, and many of them come flavored. They are glamorized, right, because many of them are marketed by celebrities, and they are touted as being relatively safe. But not because they don't have tobacco and many of the other chemicals that are seen in cigarettes, they are not necessarily safe. They do have other chemicals. And one chemical that is seen in some of the flavorings that are used in e-cigarettes is called diacetyl. Diacetyl is a chemical that was used to make the buttery flavor that was used to give microwave popcorn that taste. It was then banned because the factory workers in the factories making the microwave popcorn got ill.
Another popular smoking option among teenagers is marijuana. But does marijuana or ganja smoking pose any risk to the teenage smoker?
The research does show that there's a big difference between a teenager smoking and an adult smoking. And the simple fact is this, is that your brain is not fully developed until age 22, 23. So there's a part of the brain that controls the executive function of the body, weighing consequence, all of these different things. So when you start using drugs at an early age, it actually impacts that part of the brain. So that's why you do have some of the students, if you realize they're not doing well in class, right? It's like they get very upset or angry easily. All the research shows that once you start smoking from an early age, long-term consequences are more severe. For example, in the 30s, if you start smoking as a teenager, later on in life, when it lowers your IQ level.
The Jamaica Cancer Society cites peer pressure, stressful relationships, and unresolved challenges at home as the 3 main reasons for teenage smoking.
Unfortunately, many young persons are under the mistaken impression that cigarettes eliminate stress. This is certainly not so. We therefore encourage students to seek help from their parents and teachers to resolve any issues that they may be facing. Do not turn to smoking for answers.
To help teenagers quit smoking, there is the Fresh Start Smoking Cessation program offered by the Jamaica Cancer Society in association with the American Cancer Society.
This is a comprehensive 4-session group-based course that covers issues such as nicotine addiction, managing withdrawal symptoms, weight control, stress management, recognizing and planning for possible obstacles to quitting, staying tobacco-free, and enjoying being a non-smoker.
There's also an annual anti-tobacco youth forum held in February to educate high school students about the dangers of smoking.
Many young people feel that lung cancer in particular is a disease of the elderly and that they have years ahead of them before the dangers of smoking will affect them. So it is our responsibility to educate and to be able to tell our younger folk, don't start if you haven't started, and to stop if you actually have, because the dangers of cigarette smoking actually start from day one, from that first cigarette.
For more information on programs to help teens quit smoking, contact the Jamaica Cancer Society at 927-4265 or visit their website at jamaicacancersociety.org. You may also call the National Council on Drug Abuse at 926-9002-4 or visit their website at ncda.org.jm.
Pedestrians, it is only safe to cross this designated part of the road if you follow the road rules. Never attempt to cross before the indication is given, and do not try to beat the oncoming traffic which has the green light.
You have overhead bridges, and overhead bridges are safe areas that are provided for pedestrians to cross. What we are seeing are pedestrians dashing across dual carriageways and then leaping over concrete medians. That is a no-no. We have had persons who have lost their lives doing that. And I am now appealing to pedestrians to do the right thing and access the overhead bridges that are provided in order to save your own life.
Where there is no overhead bridge or crossing sign, use the pedestrian crossing with caution. Monitor the lights and cross when it's safe to do so. That is a dangerous practice and a 99.9% chance of this happening.
The amount of kinetic energy that comes on your body, that is going to determine whether or not you survive.
There are several signs. Road signs are the language of the road. You have informational signs, directional signs, warning signs, and you have enforcement signs. Enforcement signs are erected upright are those that are drawn on the road surface. For example, you have stop sign, one-way sign, and it points in the direction where the one-way is. No U-turn, no parking, no right turn, no entry, a number of signs. If there's no sign that are erected upright, you will see yellow markings painted on curb walls. That constitute no parking, and you should not park in those areas. You park where white painting is drawn on those curb walls. Those are areas where parking is permitted. You have continuous white lines that are drawn on road surface. No motorist should drive to the right of a continuous white line. There are some other signs, especially like along Knutsford Boulevard, where the dual carriageway is, but there is any elevated median. You see something looking like a zebra crossing. Those crossing depicts a median, but a median that is not elevated. If you disobey a stop sign, it carries a fine of $4,000 or 6 demerit points. If you disobey the traffic light, the red light, that too carries $4,000 a fine or 6 demerit points. On the approach of a traffic light, for example, Halfway Tree Road, Chelsea Avenue, by JIS there is no filter light. You are to obey the light, and whenever you get green, you are to proceed. These lights are so configured that they allow for a pedestrian to cross. So when that red light is on, pedestrians are crossing. So that's why a filter light is not put in. When approaching a roundabout, you are to yield to the person to the right. Right? Always allow for that person to go first. A similar thing with a yield sign, a give way sign. You are to yield to the person and allow that person to proceed. If you happen to overtake, you are to do so if the way is clear, and once you complete that maneuver, you are to get back to the left lane and remain there. We have persons anticipating the light. You have those that are anticipating the green, and even before the green comes on, they are off. And you have others who are beating the amber in order to go by as well. And I should tell you this, red means you are to stop, amber means you are to prepare to stop, and green means you are to go if the way is clear.
And remember, always wear your seatbelt. This is where the magazine closes for the day. I hope you found our program informative. Send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Stay informed on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Or download our app on your Apple and Android devices to catch up on the go. You can also visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Sandra Clark. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.